I could talk about a couple things. Like for new riders, those are the type of videos I want to do, is educational videos, you know, my 2 cents, what I think, not what is exactly right, you know, just my opinion, I guess. Like if you're gonna get into motorcycles, your buddy's got one, or you just want to ride a motorcycle, or it's something you're thinking about doing, no matter how scared you think you are of a motorcycle, or how afraid you're going to be, don't buy a 250. I wouldn't recommend buying a 400, but if you're going to go with a small one, buy a 400 at least. That's like the bare minimum. I wouldn't start on anything. I wouldn't start on a 400 personally. I would start on a 650. I think 650s are great starter bikes. They allow you to grow into them a little bit. And truth be told, if you want to go fast on the interstate, you know, you need to buy a 1000, but that's a foolish reason to buy a motorcycle. It's a very dangerous place to go fast. But if you're trying to be fast in the twisties, I mean, even on the track really, but in the twisty roads, a 650 will keep up with a very fast 1000 rider all day long in the twisties. You can corner faster, you can get the bike over way easier, and they still got a little grunt, you know, for as far as power. They're not too shabby, to be honest. My first bike was a Kawasaki Versus 650, which this bike is like exactly like that one, but on steroids. My brother actually bought me that bike, and it was my first motorcycle, and hell, I can't thank him enough for that. I'll return that favor one day. It was a great bike. I should have never sold it, but I'll tell you what happened was he went out and bought an R6. We had matching bikes. We both had Versus. And I rode his R6 and realized instantly that that Versus ain't doing it no more. I'll never forget that day, man. I took off on that R6 and cracked that throttle for the first time and could not believe how fast that thing was. And I bet I didn't get past 9,000 RPM. And it was trying to rip my arms off. Like, unbelievable fast. And I sold my bike the next day. Shit you not. The next day I sold it. Somebody offered me $2,300 for it. I took it. And I bought an R6. I put some money with it, but it was actually the R6 that was stolen that I found at Walmart. But yeah, I don't know why they still make 250s. I guess because Europeans got their rules, but man, that's just too small of a bike. They're just too small. They don't hardly do highway speeds. They won't even get out of the way. Sometimes you need to scoot and get out of the way. I just think they're too small. You're gonna grow out of that thing in 2 weeks. As soon as you learn how to kind of ride the motorcycle, you're gonna be grown out of it. Just like that. Now that 650, you can grow into that. I would strongly recommend a 650 or an MT-07 as a starter bike. I think that's a fine idea. They're not too fast. It might feel fast, but they're really not that fast. About 125 mile an hour is all they'll do. Which, that's plenty fast. I mean, that's about 115 mile an hour faster than it takes to get you killed in certain situations. But just be careful, man. If you're going to get into motorcycles, you're already thinking about that, you know. If you're going to get into motorcycles and be stupid, you're just going to buy a 1000. So this conversation ain't for you. So if you're going to buy a small bike, then you're obviously wanting to be careful. So 650 is perfect. I wish I would have never sold that bike, but it started the domino effect that ended me up on this bike, so I'm actually glad I sold it. But I miss it. I got pretty good at riding the past year, the past season on this bike, and at least I think so, and more I kind of want to ride that bike, because I could absolutely push that bike to its limits. This bike, I'm touching it. I'm getting it there. You could drive it a little faster, but that 650, I could man, I about fucked up. I could push that bike to its full potential. It's a lot funner to ride a slow bike fast than it is to ride a fast bike slow. That's a fact. That is such a big ass fact right there. Also, if you're gonna get into motorcycles, buy some gear, man. Buy a helmet at the least. If you don't wear a helmet or buy a helmet, you're a fucking fool. Just flat out, period. You're a fool. That's just stupid. I wouldn't go to the damn store without a helmet on. I mean, you never know. Shit happens. You could have a front tire blow out, put you on the ground, smack your head, and die doing 35, you know. Put the fucking helmet on. They feel safer. They knock that wind noise down, which is why people go deaf. Not from the noise of the motorcycle, it's the wind noise. I don't see how people stand it, to be honest. I mean, if you got a big windscreen, I guess it's not too bad, but you try to ride this thing without a helmet and the wind's so bad, it's not enjoyable. So now you're at the point where, do you buy a naked bike or do you buy a sport bike? You know, and that's going to depend on, I guess, what you want to do, really. How much you plan on riding. If you're like going to be a Sunday dude, take it out on Sunday for an hour or two, I would recommend a sport bike if that's all you're going to do, because they're not as comfortable, but they are faster. They tend to, they got their pros and cons. Full fairing bikes are typically faster than naked bikes. Now, you got your exceptions like the Ducati V4R. Appreciate that, dog. Their V4 naked bike is the real fucking deal, man. That thing is seriously fast. I've never ridden one, but I know a lot about it, and it's probably one of the most insane naked bikes you can buy. Like, it's not detuned and stuff like the like most naked bikes are. Man, dude, I appreciate that, dude. People being so nice today. Thanks, dog. See, like this situation, just go for it. It is so hot. I feel like I'm riding in hell. So you pick, now you got it, you know, you want a naked bike or you want a sport bike. You got that figured out. You're gonna go with a 400 or 650. You got that part figured out. Like I said, buy some gear. I would recommend a helmet and jacket. Unless your finances aren't a problem, just buy a suit, you know. Depending on your riding, I guess. You don't need a suit if you're just gonna cruise around. But as you get faster and as you get better and older, you'll slowly realize that protection, it's a must, man. It really is. You know, that one time that it pays off, it's worth all the years of sweating and whatever else you're complaining about wearing the gear, you know. Like, I'm cooking right now. I'm pretty warm. But it's Skin grafts start at, you know, 10 grand or better. You can buy a full suit for 500 bucks that'll protect you from that. A jacket and a helmet will protect you for most daily riding. Your blue jeans, if you fall at 60, God forbid, them blue jeans are gone in the first 5 feet you slide, maybe less. They're gone, and now it's just ass cheek, gone. You got to dig the rocks out. It's miserable. It's absolutely miserable. I wrecked a four-wheeler when I was younger, and getting the dirt out of the wound was 10 times worse than the accident. I almost couldn't do it. Like, I kept making them stop. They were like, we have to get infected, da, 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 da. But so you got your bike, you got your gear, now you're ready to hit the road. What's the first thing you're gonna do? You're gonna go somewhere and open the throttle. 90% of people are gonna go somewhere and do that. Just keep in mind that bikes are fast, even the small ones on acceleration. They accelerate so fast, when you're not used to it, you'll come up on something before your eyes can even perceive it. And by the time you grab the brakes, you done hit it, whatever it is. So keep that in mind. They accelerate very quickly. Which is why they're so much fun. If they didn't, I mean, this would be like a chore. This would be frowned upon, like a scooter. You know, who the fuck wants to ride a scooter? I mean, if you're on vacation at the beach, hell yeah, I'll rent a scooter. I'll ride the hell out. I'll be dragging knee on that sumbitch. It'd be a blast. But, you know, you buy a motorcycle, 90% of the people buy it to go fast. Do some track days. That's the best thing you can do, man. If you're going to be a new rider and you want to learn how to ride, go to the track. Book you a track day, you know, or find out when they're doing test rides. Kawasaki does them, all the bikes do them, and you can go ride all of their bikes. And then book you a track day as soon as you buy your bike and take it to the track. And you're going to go fast. You might not on your first lap, but you're eventually going to zone out and watch the guy in front of you, and you're just going to be following him. And then all of a sudden you're going to be like, damn, this is fun. This is awesome.